Congratulations, guys, on getting your e-commerce projects done. I know that was really challenging for the first few weeks, but now you guys get to reap the benefits with the second project. So in my previous videos, I went over the requirements for each week, but the second project is going to be different. Since we're not creating the criteria, you guys are going to be creating the criteria for yourselves for what you want to accomplish from week to week. So I went ahead and did my first week of my project. I'm making a daily planner application. Um, but I'm not going to be going over how I coded this, um, but rather I'm going to be talking about something that I talked with a few students about, which is styling, which is Bootstrap. I'm going to be talking a little bit about the capabilities that one can have in designing their website with Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a really great resource that allows you to uh, outsource some things that would be a lot more difficult to do yourself. This is a back-end class, so we don't want you guys worrying too much about having to do things front end, and Bootstrap allows you to not have to focus on a lot of those things. So I'm going to go through how I've already implemented a few different things, components of Bootstrap into my application. But first we'll go to the Bootstrap website. Here to the download page. There's a few different ways that you can import Bootstrap into your application. The first is to download it. You can see your compiled CSS and JS. There's a download right here. But I chose to go with the Bootstrap CDN, which just means that I copied these first two links and put them into my EJS file to then access the capabilities of Bootstrap. So if we go to my project, you can see up here that I have my script here and my link here, which are both the Bootstrap links that we were just looking at, which then allows me to access Bootstrap inside of my project. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about right here is the row. Bootstrap allows you to use class names to access various Bootstrap capabilities. And the first one, at least here in my project, is row. Now, row in Bootstrap is just a sectional area. In my case, I'm only using 3 different rows, and by default, without going into other sections, your row is going to take up the whole screen. So here, my row, I have a row taking up the whole screen right here for my header. I have another row right here that has the buttons in it, and then I have another row down here that has the text in it. And now we have those 3 rows, and then within each Bootstrap row there are 12 columns, and those 12 columns you can use to then position your items. So we'll start up here with my header. My header, once again, is a row that contains 12 different columns, and I, in my code, could say how big I want each of these columns to be. All that matters is that they are beneath 12. So I was going for the full 12 here. We have column 1, which is just empty, another column 1 that has the logout button, and then column 10 in the middle. Once again, that adds up to 12. If we come back into here, there's the column 1 that's going to be empty, and there's a column 10 where I put the H1 to be text align centered, sits in the center of that 10 column, and then 1 column on the side with a logout button. And then I did the same kind of thing for here for my buttons and for my text. I did 4 on my sides, 4, and then 2 on the inside. So it's 4, 6, 8, 12. So 12 for the whole things. What you can also do, if you have a row, you can put rows inside of columns. So let's say I have my column of 10 up here. This column of 10 is inside a row, but I could put a row inside of that column to then create more rows just within that column 10. which is something that's really great about Bootstrap. It allows you to take up the space that you want to and then manipulate that space according to your needs for your project. So that is how rows and columns work. The next thing that we see in my project is I'm using ML, MR, MT, MB, and then I have a number out of it. What these mean, the M means margin, L means left, R means right, T means top, B means bottom. A lot of the times we're having to add really kind of unnecessary code to put margins for the top, left, right, bottom. Bootstrap saw that, decided to make it make it a lot easier. Now these are 0 to 5, 0 meaning that um, there is no margin at all. I usually do that on my rows because I've noticed here, even if I put this to 1, if we go back into my project, reload this. All right, that didn't do it. Anyways, we won't worry about that. Sometimes you get a bar down here, so I like to put it to 0, um, just to make sure that there's not going to be a horizontal scroll on the page. But I use this a lot of the time. If we come into here, let's see. Well, it looks like I'm not using my margin top and margin bottom. But that's because, margin top 5, while it can create some good space, it's not going to create this kind of space. So I did use my own version, or in my CSS, I established how big I wanted the margin to be between these two rows. But once again, it is a really great tool. If we did go into my login, I'm sure we're going to see here that I am using my margin top and I'm using margin bottoms, as can be seen here. So once again, those are just things that you're going to be importing into your classes, your class names, to then access those different kinds of margins. Another thing that is really cool that you can use in Bootstrap, you see my button up here, just using the button in itself usually gives you kind of a janky 90s feeling button, but Bootstrap has allowed for the creation of really cool looking buttons. These are all different kinds of buttons from Bootstrap, not really different kinds, but different colors. As you can see down here, they establish what each of those is. And as you can see, the thing that really matters is here in this class. These are Bootstrap classes. Now the primary, you have button here first of all, which tells your code is saying this is a Bootstrap button that we're going to be using. And then we have button primary, and then button dash primary is just signaling to what color it's going to be. So we have primary, secondary, success, danger, warning, info. If we go back into mine, you can probably guess what mine is. Mine's an info. If we go back into my code, go to home, my logout, you can see here I have button info. But yeah, that's something that I really like about it. You don't have to worry about doing any of the kind of hover or changing your cursor. Bootstrap does that for you. So that's something else that's really cool. And that's honestly, at least for now, on my project, that's the extent of my using Bootstrap. But Bootstrap has a ton more elements that you can use from them, or components, better said, from themselves. If we come in here, they have a list of components that you can take from. This is not plagiarism. This is Bootstrap. They're open source, so they allow you to use their code. Once again, I'll reiterate, this is a back-end class, so we want you guys to be able to use the resources you can on the front end so you can put more time and effort into the back end. But if we come in here, this is an example of Bootstrap navbar. This is something that I've used in a lot of my projects where I want just a simplified navbar in my project. I'll come in here and I'll copy right here, copy to clipboard, put it in my project, and then change elements of it to the wording that I want, or even the styling that I want, where I can mix it up. And I have lots of different nav bars in here. If I come down here, One of my favorite parts of it is they have multicolored nav bars. So if you come down here, they give you the classes for changing the colors of the nav bar. Something else that they have that I've used that is really helpful. Let's say you don't want to clutter your page with a form, but you'd rather have it be able to just pop up. You can use Bootstrap modals. If we come in here, let's see, let's go to the second example, launch live or launch demo modal. If we come here, it's going to pop up a modal for me. I could put a form in here and then allow the user to submit a form if I wanted to. And they have different kinds of modals. They have vertically centered. Where's the one that, the scrolling. You have the scrolling one, so you can put a lot of content in it if you want to. That's the modal. That's the other one that I wanted to show you guys. I think that's it. But like I said, if you come here and look at the components, they have lots of different components that you can use where you no longer have to worry about the hard work that would go into styling a lot of your elements that are in your pages, but you can take from Bootstrap and then adjust it to how you want it to look in your project and how you want it to work. So I hope that was helpful. Like I said, Bootstrap is an awesome tool that can really save you a lot of time and also help your website to be clean and orderly. So I hope you guys use this in your project. If you have any questions about Bootstrap, please reach out to Andrew, me, or Brother Birch, and we will gladly help you to be able to get this project done and looking good. Once again, thanks guys for watching the video, and yeah, reach out to us if you need us.